Stoinis outside the off-stump. Stoinis went back, was stood up and was beaten comprehensively on that occasion.
Yeah, it's starting to look like a red soil pitch now.
And that is driven on the up, but past extra cover. Then there's a misfield out in the deep, and they go through for 2. The throw's pretty rubbish as well, but they don't go through for a 3rd. But again, the bowler causing problems. That wasn't that far away from extra cover on the drive from Stoinis.
No, it's a poor shot, but he knows not only have they lost wickets, but they're also behind the reef. But the ball is now spinning and stopping occasionally, but there is the odd one that's still skidding through.
And it's another superb delivery. Stoinis can't believe it. He's been bowled. He's looking around going, what happened there? Well, it's spun past his bat. It's hit off a middle, and he is gone.
Look, Guy Swindells has nailed that delivery for you, but if you do need a DAZN membership, it might be for that ball. He's bowled 2 absolute pillars. That first ball was back of a length on middle stump and spun and beat him by a long way. That was a beautiful delivery to set him up. This one is on leg stump. It is spun and bounced a little bit as well, and it's beaten him all ends up. Marcus Stoinis looks confused that he's actually been bowled. He's turned around. I think he might have asked
am I out?
Yeah, he wasn't sure. That it was Mike Gatting-esque. Slightly different physique, Guy. Slightly different
Only
physique
slightly.
than Mike Gatting, Marcus Stoinis. But that was the kind of thing, because he did not expect a ball to pitch on leg stump and take the top off stump. Absolutely beautiful. A loose shot from him, and he played a couple already, but he had to score. But now they are in trouble.
Well, that really was a ball out of the top draw. There's already a few moments that you'll want to see on DAZN, as rightly Jared Kimber said. Nicholas Pooran is the next man in, and if you want to watch every game of the IPL live, you can on DAZN, along with the best in boxing and so much more as part of your subscription. Visit DAZN.com now. Well, Nicholas Pooran.
I said he should come in earlier.
Yeah, you did. You were. Well, he's coming pretty early. He's coming in the 7th over, and he takes a very long and wise stride forward to negate any more rippers from Jadeja and plays it out into the onside.
So the interesting thing here is that we talked about Stoinis potentially going to the top. They went with 2 anchors to replace KL Rahul. One of them's still there, to be fair, so that may have paid off. But in not moving Stoinis and Pooran, you actually expose them to, what's happened in this game already so far. Whereas if Stoinis had opened, he would have got a couple of overs from the seamers and then started to face the spin. He would have felt, he looked like he'd never seen left arm finger spin.
No.
The one that got him might have got anyone, but he was so loose with it, he almost got caught at covers, as you said. Even that sweep first ball, I saw after he played the sweep first ball in the hat-trick, came down the wicket, and Dhoni was looking at Tikshana going, we've got this guy.
Yeah.
So they took that risk, and because of that, they found themselves in more trouble.
Moeen Ali is continuing the spin pressure at the moment.
But the truth is that you can't place KL Rahul because he scores enough for 2 batters, right? It's like Jimmy Butler misses a game for the Miami Heat and they lose to the New York Knicks. There are certain players you can't replace.
Well, that is flicked away by Karan into the leg side. They go for a single. Karan is now 4 not out from 9.
We did see a bowl in this tournament that wasn't a bowl. Did you see the knuckleball that Sandeep Sharma bowled to Rohit Sharma?
No, go.
Bowled a leg cutter. It was so good that everyone expected him to be bowled, but if you have a look, it does look like Sanju Samson's gloves might have taken the bails off, not the ball. Yeah, and no one appealed. It was ages later, and even then, I don't think they ever showed a side on, so we never quite saw if that's what had happened.
Moeen goes round the wicket now to the left-hander Nicholas Pooran. Karan was saying, do you want to drop and go single, and had gone quite a long way down the wicket before Pooran said, I don't think so, old son.
Just having a look at that ball too. There's a big when Stoinis is bowled, there's a big thread off that ball. That umpire shouldn't have allowed that to be delivered.
And that is driven nicely by Pooran, who played it drive a little inside out, but up to long off, and ensures that the scoreboard keeps ticking over, and they can try and use the left-right combination.
Just on, they're so much dictating the game now that Turan's come in and they can bring on the off spinner.
And that's just tucked around the corner nicely by Karan. And they go for another single. Another huge divot is taken out of the outfield, but it will be just the one.
So it's the second time they've been able to bring an off spinner on, knowing that the right hand is not going to punish the off spinner, and so that they can just target the left hander. It just shows how far ahead of the game Chennai is at the moment. We knew they were going to bowl more spin. We knew that the red pitch might assist them, and that the day game would help them.
Moeen Ali's in again, and going back is Pooran, and he flicks the left-hander, into the leg side, deep backward square. It's just a single, 4 singles from that over. Nicely bowled again by Moeen, who has 1 for 7 from his 2 overs. And look now, 38 for 4 after 8 overs. And remember, they were put in by CSK, but at the time said they'd have batted first.
Yeah, both teams wanted to bat, didn't they? Is that right?
No, CSK wanted to bowl.
CSK wanted to bowl, and so both teams got what they wanted. That's what I meant to say.
Exactly. Both teams were happy.
Yeah. So Deep Dasgupta was talking about this game the other day, and he was basically saying that he thought that Chennai were favourites in this game, even though it was away. Partly he was talking about the schedule because it was so close to that other game, and that does affect teams. But the other thing he was talking about is that it's a day game with spinners.
Jadeja, the ball is driven back to him. He makes an exaggerated dive to his left, but the ball had hit the ground first. The crowd weren't to know that. And Jadeja comes in again, racing through his overs, and that is played again back to the bowler, no run.
In these conditions, Chennai have 3 frontline wicket-taking spinners available to them, and that is a huge advantage.
Jadeja in once again. Pooran plays that nicely, just backward of square, and the man is far enough back that they could go through for an easy single, the first run from the over so far.
Now this is going to annoy Pooran, because Pooran loves facing Jadeja, because he could just swing him across the line anytime he wants to deep the wicket. I think he strikes at 2 runs a ball against him, but he probably can't do that now. No,
he's going to have to wait a little while, and Jadeja can take full toll on that. He has made his move in to look as if he was starting to deliver. There was a change in the field. He now is ready, left arm round the wicket and driven nicely and correctly up to long off, but there'll only be a single. Nicely fielded. And again we're dealing in singles. This match is remarkably similar to the one I was commentating on yesterday. Things did speed up for the second 10 overs in both occasions, but both teams, we had one 23 for 5 and one 32 for 4, and we had another team who were 30 odd for 4 in this match here. I think the IPL will want to take me off commentary soon. I'm not helping the excitement of the batting.
Aye, but you sold that wicket before, so it's fine. The zone will give you an extra deal.
That's true. 3 singles so far from this over from Jadeja. Make that 4. And just as Moeen Ali's over previously went for 4 singles, that is exactly what Ravi Jadeja's managed to do with his second over. He now has figures of 1 for 7 from his 2 overs. We're going to have a timeout here with the score. Look now, after being put in, 42 for 4.
Live commentary of the IPL.
That's gone big, and that 6 seals the deal
On talkSPORT-2.
With the biggest range of cars to buy entirely online, it's no wonder everyone's cinching it.
I cinched it while on holiday in Cornwall.
I just cinched it with free home delivery. Shh, this is a library.
Class, repeat after me. I cinched it.
Cinched it.
With so many great reasons to buy, the nation aren't just nailing it, they're cinching it. Comparison against equivalent retailers. Visit cinch.co.uk/range claim. Delivery to GB mainland, Isle of Wight and Scottish Islands only. T's and C's apply.
Sometimes you just need to get away. And for the Agarwal family, it was well overdue. They wanted to know exactly what they were getting, like knowing their kids stay and eat a delicious breakfast for free.
Yes!
And no need to lug heavy bags, with free parking at over 500 hotels. Enjoy the same feeling whatever the trip. Premier Inn. Rest easy. Only available to book at premierinn.com. T's and C's apply. Up to 2 kids stay and eat breakfast free with a full paying adult.
At Toolstation, we know your job is full of unexpected challenges. One moment everything's working like a well-oiled machine, the next, it's not. That's why our trade account gives you an extra 5% off everything, allowing you to pay faster and spend less. Applying is easy, and you can manage your account via the app or on toolstation.com. That's more like it. Toolstation. Tools and more for any task. Trade accounts valid for businesses only. Conditions apply.
Cricket. The unmistakable sound of leather on willow.
Absolute beauty.
Fireworks. Power ballads. And T-shirt cannons.
What a catch.
Vitality Blast is back.
Oh, wonderful technique.
Another explosive season of T20 cricket launches the 20th of May. Have a blast. Early bird tickets available until the 3rd of May. Buy now. Search Vitality Blast. Selected grounds only. Terms apply.
On DAB+, online, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker.
And it is out of the ground.
The Indian Premier League, live on talkSPORT-2.
Welcome back to talkSPORT-2's coverage of the IPL. Look now, Super Giants against the Chennai Super Kings. And look now, 42 for 4 after being put in. Now, 2 of those wickets fell to Mahesh Theekshana, who was then taken off after his 1 over 2 for 4 or whatever it was.
Yeah, good spell. Hit the showers. We don't need you anymore. Now, purely a matchup thing. With Nicholas Perrin in, they didn't want 2 guys spinning the ball into him.
Moeen Ali. It's a good delivery. And although Karan was trying to come down the wicket to negate the spin, he didn't get much bat on that. It just crept out into the leg side. And they turned down the single. Moeen Ali is in once again. And this is tucked away straighter, and they can go for a single on this occasion. But again, that's all they're dealing in at the moment.
I should say that Theekshana is technically an off-spinner, but I don't think he's tried to spin a ball away, and even if he does, he doesn't spin it very much. So they thought, well, Puran's in now, we can at least get 1 extra over out of Moeen Ali. If we get 2, that means he'll almost have bowled his full quota, which will have them ahead of the equation. So it made sense, but yeah, poor Theekshana hitting the showers.
And that does spin from Moeen Ali, but the left-hander Puran can punch it into the covers. And they can easily go through for a single. Nicholas Puran has got the ability to explode if he has a position from which to explode from. 225 runs so far this season with a strike rate before this match of 190, but that's another wicket for Moeen Ali. Karan has gone, he's just driven it, clipped it straight back to the bowler. Moeen Ali, well, he was protecting his face, but he held on nicely as the ball came towards him. He made absolutely no fuss about him. And it was a fine catch because it was pretty well driven back. But the 2 hands were up there and the ball was clung on to 44 for 5.
Clung on to is the perfect explanation because he had 1 finger around the ball at the back there. It was just managing to do that. I think they just showed Gambhir and Andy Flower at the timeout, and Gambhir was just, as he often does, blowing very hot. But even Andy Flower seemed to be saying that, we've got to get going. We see straight after the break, Karan Sharma, who is well behind on the run rate. We know he was brought in as a anchor, so it's not as if anyone's expecting him to have a strike rate of 180 or anything. But he had to try and score. Unfortunately, hit it straight back to Moeen Ali.
Right. Well, Ayush Badoni is the next man in. His strike rate is around 130. And that's flicked back by the batter to Moeen Ali, who fields off his own bowling, just as he did with the last drive. And when you see the evasive manoeuvre of the umpire behind Moeen Ali as he took that catch, you realise it was hit quite hard. And that is clipped out into the leg side. Mo again does his own fielding. That's the end of a superb over from Moeen Ali. He now has the figures of 2 for 9 from 3 overs. There were just 2 singles from that. 44 for 5 at the halfway point now. Lucknow, it's looking a better and better toss to win.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there was a little bit of movement early on, but they didn't really lose that much wickets from the swing or anything else. But yeah, Chennai clearly wanted to bowl during the middle of the day to make sure their spinners got as much purchase as possible. I mean, you could argue, Guy, it might spin even more later on, but it might not matter by then.
Ravi Jadeja drops that one short, and that's pulled away by Pooran. They can't pierce the field, and they can only take a single. But that was the nearest thing we've had to a loose ball in about 5 overs. We have seen some good catches so far taken by the Super Knights. They really have held. We saw a great catch in the slips, lovely caught and bowled. It's been good stuff so far. Badoni plays that out in to the offside, and he gets off the mark with a single.
Yeah, again, we thought Badoni might bat higher up the order, and again, he has by accident rather than by design. But he can push it around for a little bit here, but it just feels that Andy Flower and Gautam Gambhir wanted them to attack a little bit more, and it's almost backfired straight away.
Jadeja is in again, and that is just pushed backward a square by Nicholas Pooran. They go through for a nicely taken single. Yeah, Ayush Badoni, 132 runs this season at a fraction under 19, high score of 43. But it's all on Nicholas Pooran's shoulders, you feel this. That is played out into the covers defensively by Badoni, who understandably wants to get his eye in before he starts doing what the coaches were asking the batters to do, try and get a bit of a hurry up. That's better placed, and they'll be able to go through for an easy single out to deep cover.
Surely if they lose another wicket here, they have to have an impact player sub as a batter come in. I don't know, Deepak Hooda was one of the ones I think I saw on the list there.
Jadeja is in again, and Pooran plays that backward square, but this time the fielder is onto it sharply, and he hit the ball a little bit harder than he has done on that shot in previous instances, hence why he couldn't trot through for a quick single. It's the end of Jadeja's latest over. He now has the figures of 1 for 11 from 3 overs, and the overs between Moeen Ali and Jadeja, 20 from 6 overs between them, and picked up 3 wickets.
That doesn't include Theekshana?
I'm not even counting him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Because he was quite expensive. He went for 6.
Yeah, dud. Should have been dropped. Santner would have had 8 for by now.
It's Moeen who will be understandably bowling his full allotment of 4 overs in this match, as that is tucked up too long on for a simple single.
Well, the other thing they've done here is they're getting Jadeja's overs over quickly as well, so that by the time Pooran is in and wants to start hitting, there's no Jadeja to hit. So everything is just so weighted towards Chennai in this game.
Moeen Ali round the wicket to Pooran, who pushes the ball with an outside edge that drops in front of the slip. It was a brilliant take, but for a moment they thought they were in with the chance of a catch. In fact, it was nicely played. Soft hands meant that even a slip catcher of our man's ability couldn't take it then, and that is driven out into the offside. Pooran using his feet on this occasion, pushes it out into the mid-off area and can go through for a single. But for a man who has a strike rate of 190 coming into this, 8 from 14, we're just seeing how well these two are bowling. The 50 comes up in the 12th over with 5 wickets down. Badoni leans back and cuts away, but that deep sweeper out on the cover boundary will ensure it's only another single. You can watch every game of the IPL live on DAZN, along with the best in boxing and so much more as part of your subscription. Visit dazn.com now. Current run rate 4.37. Moeen Ali is in again and forces Pooran onto the back foot. He says, look, there was a single, the guy was stood well back, but Badoni wasn't interested. We're just seeing the projected scores. If they carry on at their current score, they're going to get to 86. If they manage to crank it up to 6 and over, they might make 100. 8 and over, and it's still only 116.
Yeah, Cricinfo has them at 115.
And that is swung away on this occasion. But again, there is a man out in the deep on the leg side who can keep them down to a single. Moeen has finished 2 for 13 from his 4 overs. Superb figures from the England man. And he has been one of the success stories so far for the Chennai Super Kings. The spinners, 8 overs between them. 22 dot balls. They've only conceded 30 runs in those 8 overs, and they've taken 5 wickets.
Yeah, well ahead of the game here in every particular way that you care to look at this. So they've still got 3 more overs of Theekshana. The only problem I see is that Chahar only has 1 over, and if Deshpande does go for runs at the end, they haven't left themselves a lot of cover. But Theekshana might bowl at the death on a pitch like this, and the way he's bowling at the moment. I think it's a big ask for him. He's finally found his form, and they're just like, can you bowl 3 overs at the end? But they are 52 for 5, so perhaps with that in mind, it won't matter. But Pooran...
But I also think that they could be bringing somebody else through, because I doubt whether Moeen Ali was down for 4 overs before this match started.
He might have been because of the pitch.
It is Theekshana who is brought back into the attack now for Jadeja. And that is just slightly on the short side and is cut away for a single.
No, you're right. They've got Patharana, don't they? So he hasn't bowled yet at all. So, yeah, they're so far ahead of this game. They don't need to bowl Deshpande again if they don't want to. Or they could bring him on for like the 16th, because he might take 3 wickets and go for 25. I don't know if that's mathematically possible, but if any bowler in the world could do it, it is probably him at this point. So they're so far ahead of this.
Theekshana is in again, and that's round the leg side, and he's lapped round the corner. There is a man there at short, fine leg, but Natisha, it was short of him, and even if he had put in the dive, he wouldn't have reached it. But well bowled and well planned by Super Kings. And, it wasn't in the end a chance. Theekshana this time tucking up the batter, but he can just play it Badoni down to long on. And well, we're getting quite bored with saying this now. That'll be a single.
What was our last boundary? Was it the last ball of the power play, perhaps?
Stoinis had a boundary, didn't he?
That was the last ball of the power play, wasn't it?
I think that could be the last boundary. I don't think Pooran's hit one yet, has he?
Haven't even hit one by accident.
No, it's hard to edge spinners for 4, isn't it? And that tucks up Pooran, but then a misfield off his own bowling by Theekshana. It's backed up by Moeen, who keeps them down to a single.
So many options. They've got Patharana and Theekshana as the emerging players of the season. Theekshana actually hasn't had that good a year, I would have thought.
No, it's interesting. And he also, hasn't he rather emerged? And that is punched into the covers. And they should get a couple here, which at least will change the dynamic slightly. And Theekshana is driven. And Conway keeps them down to the 2, but at least 41 balls since the last boundary. Absolutely right, Jared.
Yeah, it's been a while. Is the best way of putting it. So Pooran's on 11 off 18, Badoni at 7 off 10.
Theekshana, again he tucks up Badoni, who can only play it up to long on. And the Lucknow fans looking increasingly desperate.
They've got a little bit of batting to come. They've got Gautam, who I wouldn't say good bat, but he can hit. And then they've obviously got the opportunity to bring in another batter for their impact sub rule if they want to. So it doesn't. They don't quite have to go into their shell as much, which is, I think, what Andy Flower was probably telling Karan Sharma before. You don't have to go into your shell. You can actually go and score if you want to. Unfortunately, he went out straight away, so not ideal.
5 runs then from that last Theekshana over. The score here on talkSPORT-2 has gone on to 57 for 5 from 13 overs. Nicholas Pooran still hasn't been able to get going. He has 11 from 18. Badoni 7 from 11, and these are red ball figures rather than IPL T20 batting numbers. And we've got plenty of live sport coming for you here on talkSPORT-2. You'll be able to listen exclusively on talkSPORT to West Ham at Manchester City this evening, which will be well worth a listen. Commentary from Sam Matterface and Trevor Sinclair on talkSPORT. talkSPORT-2 has Liverpool against Fulham in the Premier League. Joe Shenham will be joined by the former England striker Dean Ashton for that one. Paterana will be bowling. Finally gets a go with that slingy right arm action. And Badoni meets it with the full face of the bat and drives it out into the covers for one. And Matisha Paterana doesn't get that right arm very high, but neither did another very, very good white ball bowler.
Yeah, Mini Malinga is obviously what he's called. He's not quite that level of pace, although Malinga slowed down quite a bit towards the end of his career.
Paterana is in again, and that is a decent shot, driven nicely out to the covers. But again, they can't bisect the fielders. The fields are very well placed at the moment. I'm just looking from where he's bowling the ball. He's making sure that there is no chance of a run out, of a no ball. That is certainly for sure. So Poran, 12 not out from 19. Just wants to get going. You can feel his frustration. But again, he's happy just to nudge that backward or square. And the man at deep square leg, fine leg, comes round and keeps them once again down to just the one. And the Sri Lankans have got a good and decent contingent in the IPL this year.
Yeah, after a couple of years of kind of having no one.
Oh, and Paterana on this occasion goes through Badoni. That was quicker than he was expecting. He was trying to play that little dab shot outside off stump down to third man, and the ball was right